Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Articulate Thoughts, which is a personal blog of mine where I talk about thoughts, ideas, experiences, and observations about conscious dance, which is a movement practice that uses dance as a form of moving meditation. And today's idea or thought is going to be the movement of sound. And it's kind of occurred to me over the past couple years, and something I want to talk about in a little bit of detail today. And um, there's a very strong correlation between movement and sound, and it's very interesting to me because these things that are very subtle on an energetic level, but if they're tuned into each other in a synchronistic fashion, it could be very powerful in a lot of ways. And for a very long time, I thought myself, my pursuit was to be a musician, a performing musician in the performing arts. And I realized when I moved my body, it allowed me to tune into the music with more focus. And there was just something about tapping my foot or just kind of swaying my body to like the beat that allowed me to really just be on sync and focus more on what I was playing. And during that time, I really got associated with some producers and people that worked with digital audio workstations, which are like computer programs that you can use to record and manipulate sounds and arrange different tracks together and like make music. Kind of like something like Photoshop, sort of, but with sounds and music. And I remember one time where I was just sitting beside this friend, and he was working on his he was using Cubase at the time, and I was really fascinated because there was a visual representation of music, and like learning music, I never learned theory, so I didn't really have that visual connection to music. It was just very much a tactile, hands-on type of experience for me while learning and playing and performing music. But for the first time, I saw it laid out on a visual screen where everything about the music was quantified. Everything had a value, was assigned a numerical instance or a numerical value, and everything was organized and neat. And there was this time bar that kind of went from left to right, and everything had all these like bars and all these waves and all these patterns. And it's really interesting to see how the timing and placement of everything was just super synchronistic, and it could be experienced through visualizations. And there was something that happened inside of me, some kind of thing kind of triggered on, that was activated and turned on, and I experienced music in a different way. And it was very subtle, but I remember it was just I felt differently about music. There was something about movement and lines and these sort of visuals. And for the first time, I had more of an interest in how music looked, if that kind of like makes any sense. But like the visual sensation and applying that to sound was very, very intriguing to me. And then over time, I became more and more interested in dance. And I remember having this experience where I just wanted to use the music to draw lines with my body. I was using my elbows and my wrists and my hands, and my fingertips and my toes and my knees and my head and my shoulders and my waist and my hips and like all these different body postures, just drawing lines. And I visualized like these designs and patterns that I was drawing and using the music to kind of guide me. But it was a very interesting experience because like the music was guiding me to draw these lines, but it was also this dynamic of the music was the orchestra producing the music, and my body was the conductor that was interacting with it, kind of leading the sound in a certain way. And it was almost like this weird thing, this visualization where my movements produced the sound. Like, so if there was a soft, airy kind of sound, I would kind of have this floating type of variable to my movement, and then if it was like a hard thumping beat, I'd be like more aggressive and putting more weight into it. And over time, I just investigated more and more, and it got to a point where it was very clear to me that movement and dance was a very authentic expression in of myself in that moment, as opposed to being a writer, songwriter, composer, and being a performer. And I became more and more disconnected from being a musician, a performing musician, because I would sit in my room and write these songs about feelings and experiences that I had in that moment. But by the time I got to the stage and performed it, I was a different person having a different experience, and I wasn't conveying the same type of emotion or same type of feeling that it was that was being felt in that moment. I was tuning into a part of myself that was taking place in the past, and it was no longer in the moment type of expression. So I realized that dance was something that was very present in the moment, and it's me right now, and it's not necessarily a reflection of the past or the future. It's very present, and I think that's where a lot of value of conscious dance comes in. It's just being present in the moment and using the body to experience and express it to people in a very authentic and open-hearted way. And yeah, so movement and sound is terrifically thing to tune into and experiment and kind of play around with, and I encourage everyone to check it out. And that's all I got for today. And I will be dancing tonight at the Central United Church for a Five Rhythms dance, and hope you guys can join me. If not, maybe it's all good. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll chat with you soon.